Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, against the King of the Ring, Xavier Woods. King Woods. One question that I have to ask myself here is, can Roman Reigns elevate King Woods? Can he get him to be a top performer for WWE? A high-profile name in every sense of the word. Because King Woods, again, he was part of the New Day. He certainly still is, which still makes him very entertaining. He's very much the anchor to WWE programming. Just like Kofi Kingston, just like Big E, just like those three were a part of that group. They were all the anchor of WWE programming, giving us the entertainment that we needed. And it didn't matter how many times we saw him on TV. It never got old because it was always fun and energetic. And that's something that King Woods is still bringing. But there's a difference between being entertaining. There's a difference between being a part of the show, a great part of the show that you look forward to, and one of the focal points, one of the top stars. And on SmackDown and on WWE programming. Now Roman Reigns has done this in the past. He's been champion for over a year, and he put over guys like Drew McIntyre just a year ago at the Survivor Series. McIntyre lost, but he still looked like $1 million against the Tribal Chief. He put over guys like Cesaro and main event Jey Uso, who elevated their game in that wrestling ring. But the main difference here is that it did not transcend past that. And yes, some of the blame is on WWE Creative because they haven't been able to stick a great character or a great characterization or a great story to each of these characters after their interaction with the Tribal Chief. Main event Jey Uso put on great matches, and he had quite a struggle to join the bloodline, but he eventually did, and now he's just one of Roman Reigns' lackeys. Not quite what you want. Drew McIntyre, he was WWE Champion. He kept that title until he lost it to Bobby Lashley. And since then, even though McIntyre is still viewed as a top star, he is, for lack of a better term, an afterthought. Which is not something that I want to say about the Scottish Warrior. But right now on programming, on WWE programming, every time we see him on SmackDown, he's not going after the Tribal Chief. He's not in any big rivalry or feud yet. So we have to wait and see on that. Then we look at Cesaro, who I believe his whole interaction with Reigns was after his big rivalry and his big feud with Seth Rollins. But that was just one and done. Cesaro did give Roman Reigns a run for his money. He did look great in that losing effort against Roman Reigns, but then he disappeared from WWE programming altogether. He has not done anything of note since, other than this past Friday night, call out Ridge Holland and try to defend his former partner Sheamus, which again, that seems like a rivalry, a feud that is going to keep Cesaro in his place or is meant to elevate Ridge Holland, not the other way around. Again, you can blame it on WWE creative writing, which has a lot of faults in of itself, but that is WWE's big goal for the end of the year. I think they selected the perfect foil for Roman Reigns heading into the new year. When, like I said, they have no rush to put the World Championship on the line or to put the World title on anybody else other than the champion who has it right now. And I certainly don't see Reigns versus King Woods for the title at the Royal Rumble in January. Maybe on day one, the very first pay-per-view of 2022. Maybe, if they make it that far. But as of right now, heading into WrestleMania, I see Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship without a shadow of a doubt. He's making it to WrestleMania 38 with that title intact. And he's defending against one of three men. And I'm saying this right now. It's November 18th, 2021. 6 months away from WrestleMania. And I'm calling it right now. Roman Reigns is defending his championship against one of three men. Whether that be a returning Rock, which is what everybody wants, and I would certainly pop for that. Or Brock Lesnar once he returns from his suspension. But then again, on one of the first few weeks of December, he's gonna be at the Staples Center for SmackDown, and he's gonna buy a ticket. He's threatened Roman Reigns with doing that, so we'll just have to wait and see where that takes him. And personally, if you ask me, I'd much rather have Reigns versus Lesnar at the Rumble for the title in a no DQ, no countout match. Just have a clear-cut winner at the end of it all. Just have that happen. I would much rather prefer that than to have him go for a third time in a row. Excuse me, not in a row, but for a third time at WrestleMania, Reigns versus Lesnar. I want to see him mix it up with someone different. And my choice, you already know how I feel about part-time stars being in the main event of WrestleMania. I don't like it. It doesn't matter if it's Brock Lesnar. It doesn't matter if it's The Rock versus Reigns, which would obviously be the biggest match possible for WrestleMania. If it were up to me, I'd do Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre in a rematch for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. Two of your biggest current stars in the biggest main event of WrestleMania. I mean, you don't go all the way to 1999 when The Rock was champion, and instead of having your biggest star up to that point, Stone Cold, go up against him, you bring back a star from yesteryear, be that Macho Man or Hulk Hogan, and to challenge The Rock for the title. Even though that would be big. And I'm not saying McIntyre is Stone Cold Steve Austin or he's any big as Stone Cold was back in the day. All I'm saying is the 2010s, pretty much all we had were part-timers in main events of WrestleMania. Let's change that. Let's bring back what WrestleMania should be about, and that is two of your biggest current stars, two of your biggest current workers in the main event for the most prestigious championship you've got. And like I said, King Woods is going to have to find a way to elevate himself and have Reigns elevate him even in defeat during the next few weeks. After Survivor Series, this is the rivalry that we'll be seeing on Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. So we'll just have to wait and see. Do you think Roman Reigns can elevate King Woods and actually make him a bona fide main eventer? Or is this just another run-of-the-mill opponent for Roman Reigns on his route to WrestleMania? Leave your thoughts, comments on the comment section below.